Hey guys, Justin here with JHart Modelworks, coming to you once again from the nightmare that has become my world. We'll talk about that in a minute. Wanted to come to you and do a shop card shout out for a great builder. I've been sitting on this card for a couple of weeks now. I was waiting on another one to come in, only to find out here recently that the reason it hasn't come in is because I typoed my address. So he's been sending 2 cards now to an address that doesn't exist. Sorry, Kyle. As soon as I get your card, I'll do a shop card shout out for you as well. However, it's a great builder here. I want to do a shop card shout out for. Also want to go through some stash ads. Maybe a little bit of a bench update on the pickup truck. Not much to talk about there. And we'll probably end up talking about everything kind of going on in my life, but I'm going to save that for the end because that's kind of heavy, and want to give you guys the opportunity to bail before that. But happy stuff first. Let's start with a shop card shout out. We also got a Christmas card from the same gentleman. Looks like Santa's trying to deliver me a present. I would love to have one of those. Great Christmas card. And our shop card comes to us from Vinny at CaptainCuzzz Scale Model Builds. If it flies, floats, or rolls, he will in fact build it. Vinny's got some great builds going on. He doesn't have a lot on the channel right now, but he does have some absolutely fantastic stuff there. He does like airplanes, ships, tanks. He's got some cars going. Working on a build for the Old Tom appreciation build. He's working on a Camaro. The color is beautiful. He's got some issues going on with his clear. I imagine he'll get that sorted out, but it's looking good. Looking really good. So go ahead and check him out. He also sent us an awesome refrigerator magnet. Those are always cool. So yeah, give Vinny a check out, give him a subscribe as well. I will have the link to him. When I'm doing it at my desk, I just point at the paper towel holder, but the phone records in reverse and I have to flip it. I think it's going to be in that corner. If not, it will definitely be in the bottom in the description. I know which direction that is. But give Vinny a check out. Great builder. Thank you, Vinny. He's also, it looks like he's working on building all the aircraft that were on his carrier when he served. That's a pretty cool idea. And I wanted to thank you, Vinny, for your service. We greatly appreciate you. Bear with me and my voice. I believe I'm coming down with the crud, but we're going to try and soldier on as best as we can. Stash ads. Got some really cool stuff here. I'm pretty sure I was on Buyee. I was on Buyee when I found this. If you don't know what Buyee is a website that allows you to get on Yahoo Auctions Japan. So Yahoo Auctions Japan will not ship to the United States. So you log in through Buyee, you create an account with Buyee, you go and you bid on what you're wanting. And you do technically pay for shipping twice, but the first shipping is usually really cheap because it's just from one part of Japan to another. But you basically, you bid and you win. Your shipping goes to Buyee's warehouse. Once Buyee gets it, they let you know, and then you turn around and they will ship it to you here in the States. But I picked up this. This is the Toyota 2000 GT, but this is not just the standard Hasegawa kit that is the curbside kit. This is the one that has the white metal engine in it. So it has That really awesome engine in white metal. I believe there's some photo etch. This, if you've ever looked for this kit, you know this is usually a $100 kit. Easy, like minimum $100 kit. The curbside kit alone usually goes for 60 plus. And this is the full engine kit that I picked up for about $50. And then I didn't pay that much for, I want to say it was maybe 15, maybe 20 to have it shipped from by E to me. But that's still a lot less than I would pay for it here in the States. So that was an awesome find. This is slated to be a buddy build with my brother from another mother, Sean from the Scale Model Car Guy channel. He is my fellow JDM, classic JDM lover. We both really love the old school JDM cars, you know, your 240s and your old Skylines like the 2000, the Hakasuka, the Kenmary, you know. So this is going to be an awesome build, brother. I cannot wait to do it. I already have my color picked out. It's going to be cool, I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure it's going to be cool. Speaking of my brother from another mother, Sean and I share the same birthday, which is January 31st. Happy birthday, brother. It is coming up all too quick. Sean sent me a birthday present. He sent me the 69 Camaro from Revell. I've seen this built by a few guys, and this is a cool kit. This is a really nice kit. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it greatly. Got a few things I'm looking at, planning for this as well. So thank you, Sean, and happy birthday to you too. Next stash ad. I've already talked about this one a little bit on the channel before on my Christmas video. So Chris from CD Scale Models gave me a gift card to Scale Writers. If you don't know what Scale Writers is, it is an awesome online web hobby shop. I want to say he's out of California, but he does a lot to support the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Whenever we do the Pistons and Paint show in Denton, he sends stuff down for prizes and door prizes and raffles and stuff like that. He gave me a gift card to Scale Writers, and I put that towards the Fujimi McLaren MP4 12C. Now this is a GT3 race car, and I don't build race cars. I'm not a big fan of all the decals, to be honest with you. But what I plan to do is to try and build this up as if it were a track toy modified up version of a street car. That's my plan. We'll see how that works out. But I really do like this car. When the MP412C first came out from McLaren, I thought it was a beautiful car. It's a shame that no one does a street version, because I would absolutely build it. But we're going to see what we can do with this and see if we can't get something along the lines of what I'm looking for. And I think we can. I think we can definitely get something going here that'll be kind of cool. I don't know about that big giant rear diffuser and these kind of side panels here. I may not be a fan of those either. We'll see when we get into it. We'll see how that works out. Another super cool kit, and thank you, Chris from CD Scale Models. We got one more stash ad. So I have some gift cards from work. My manager, or my former manager before they laid him off, guy I've worked with before, awesome manager. Like if you ever wanted a boss, Dykes would be the boss that you wanted to have. Dude was always supportive of his guys, and one of the things he did was he gave me a gift card to Amazon as a thank you gift one time, and I've been sitting on it. It's actually been in my backpack, and I just forgot that I've had it forever. And then I got another one for something I don't even remember what I got one for recently. But I had 2 Amazon gift cards, and I put those towards a Tamiya Ferrari 360 Modena Spider. You guys know I love my Ferraris, and I absolutely love convertibles. I love convertibles as cars in general. I really like them as models because they're open and you can see all the interior details. So if you do a lot of detail work on the interior of a car, a lot of times when it's a hard top, all that just kind of disappears. All that hard work is rarely ever seen. But with a convertible, you see a lot more of that work. I do like the 360. I love the 360 as a car. I prefer the 430, which is really this car's successor. It's very, very similar. Like the 430 is like a slightly redesigned body and an engine too, to be honest with you. But I've already built the convertible for the 430 from, I want to say that was the Revell kit. Tamiya does not do a 430. I looked. I really did. But the 360 Spider is going to be really cool. Again, I like this car as well. Kind of planning some colors here. It looks like it's going to be a fun build. It has an engine in it, which a lot of the Japanese cars sometimes don't. This one has an engine in it, and it looks like it looks like a pretty cool kit, to be honest with you. Tamiya kits are always fun because you don't have to fight with them. There's a lot of guys who do that whole, if you don't build AMT and you don't love AMT, then you're not a real builder. You're just an assembler. And honestly, those guys can kiss my insert expletives here. I can build AMTs. I've built AMTs in the past. I've built MPCs in the past. I don't want to. Plain and simple. I do not want to fight with a kit. I want to build a kit, I want to enjoy a kit, and I want to be able to add detail to a kit. I cannot confidently add a lot of detail to a kit when I have to fight with the kit just to build the kit. You know, when a kit goes together well, it gives you a lot more confidence in modifying it. On top of that, again, it's not that I lack the skill, I just don't want to do it. It's 2024, guys. Companies are still putting out model kits using technology from 1960. The exact same molds. I mean, if we don't ask them to step up and improve the quality of the kits, they're not charging 1960 prices. They're charging 2024 prices for the same kit they were releasing for $150 in 1960. If we don't demand that these kit manufacturers step up and improve quality, they're not going to. So people are like, well, you'll never get it, blah, blah, blah. If we don't tell them, hey, you can do better, we know you can, they won't. And honestly, round 2 has been stepping up from what I've seen. Their newer stuff, like the newer Camaro that I've seen, the Challenger that the Charger, it was the Charger kit that they just put out. That looks really good. They've got like a new Demon. They've got some new kits that they're retooling. And the stuff that they're retooling looks like it's much better quality. And that's all we're asking for. No, it's not that guys just want to shake the box and it come out, but I mean, come on, give us value for money. That's a whole different rant. Let's get off that rant because that's going to start a whole situation. So the truck, a whole lot of nothing has occurred on the pickup truck. It's been too freaking cold to paint. I've got the body prepped. The body is ready. Everything that I think should be body color is pretty much ready to go. It's ready for primer and paint, but it's been like in the teens and 20s and 30s, and spraying lacquers in that temperature just doesn't work well. It really doesn't. And then with everything going on, we're having a ground penetrating radar scan done of the foundation, which will be part of the whole discussion later. But the whole ground penetrating radar scan, they have to be able to get at the center of the garage. So everything is moved to the sides. So this is pretty much like I can't even get at my spray booth to paint. So hopefully this weekend, after that's all done, I will be able to get things kind of pushed back out of the way, like back towards the middle, so that I can, get back to the booth. And hopefully it warms up enough that I can actually paint. Because I really do have like kind of I've got some cool plans for the paint. It's gonna be blue. It's gonna be a candy blue, but the fenders, I got some cool plans for the fenders. If the fenders work the way I want them to work, they're gonna look really cool. Engine work is going on. The 302 Ford engine is not going to work out. If I use the transmission that belongs on that engine, that transmission goes almost all the way to the back of the cab, and it does not fit. We're talking I would have to be cutting the floor, the firewall, the seat, just to try and get that transmission to fit. So my next plan was, it's just a transmission. It's just a model. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I was going to mate it up to a transmission for a flathead, which would work. I 3D printed up a flathead transmission and the engine would fit. However, that 302 at 25th scale looks ridiculously tiny inside that truck. It sits so low in the engine bay. We're talking the velocity stacks barely cleared the fenders. It looked ridiculously tiny. So I have moved away from that plan. The remaining two options are to use the kit engine and just print off some modifications, some cleaner, better heads for the flathead, a different intake manifold because I want to do twin Strombergs with stacks. I really want stacks on this build. But there's just kind of, there's some things that I got kind of planned. So I could print those, like 3D print those items and add them to the kit engine. And that will pretty much guarantee me a good fit. It's not exactly where I want to go though. I am doing a flathead. I have decided I'm doing a flathead and I have built one up and it looks really, really cool. I do not have the stacks on it yet, but that is my flathead. So this flathead has some changes to it. It does have a modern distributor instead of the front end crab style distributor, which I thought that was kind of cool because I like to use Optima batteries in my trucks. Another thing that it does have is instead of having the dynamo or the generator, this actually has a modern 12 volt alternator system. So I can use the Optima battery, an actual 12 volt battery, and just basically have it set up as a 12 volt conversion. We have the really nice Stromberg carbs. You can look down in there and see that the floats are actually in there. I believe those are the floats. They're the little valves that open up for air. I do not, like I said, I don't have the stacks on this yet. I do have some painted up and they're ready to go. So this engine does fit in the engine bay. Barely. This is correctly scaled. The original engine is designed by Motoboss. Beautiful engines. He always makes beautiful engines. They're extremely complicated. They're usually like 30 freaking parts for just the engine. And then the transmission is a separate model. Everything is in Italian, so you've got to convert all the file names to figure out what's what. But beautiful engines. He builds them, he designs them to 1/10 scale. So in order to print at 1/24 scale, you would scale it down to 41.7%. To print it at 1/25 scale, you scale it down to 40%. And I've done the math. I've scaled his stuff up, multiplied by 10 to get the actual 1-to-1 size. It is the correct 1-to-1 size. Scaled it down to 25, divided by 25, and it's the exact same as scaling to 40%. It barely fits. And by barely fits, I mean I can get it to fit inside the transmission area. It fits under the cab perfectly, sits really well. The front pulley has to basically be wedged in behind the frame. Not really like forcefully wedged, but it's really tight. It presses right up on that frame. So I am reprinting this engine again. I've actually got it reprinted. It's primed. Whenever I can get back to the spray booth, I want to paint it up and assemble it. But instead of printing it at 40%, I printed it at 38. So it's just going to be a tiny bit smaller. It doesn't look like it's going to be ridiculously smaller, but it should be enough that it will open that clearance up and maybe will allow my exhaust to sit a little better as well. Because I got some plans. I am going to do like a twin exhaust instead of the single exhaust. The frame did not require much modification. The original frame it's configured for a twin exhaust, but they only give you one exhaust in the kit. So I've opened that up and cleaned that up just a little bit more so that everything will sit a little nicer. The frame is ready to go. Body wise, like I said, that's all ready for paint. The hood was badly warped. Like the sides were in, let's look at V. I'd sit with the heat gun and I would heat it up and spread it out with my fingers. And then after I would get it kind of warm a little bit, like enough to soften it, but not enough to actually melt it, I would then stick it into a bowl of cold water and slowly over the course of several hours, I got that opened up and got that where it sits a lot better. I also went in, because I am a masochist, and I opened up all of those vents that run along the side of that hood. So whenever I do get to do my next bench update on my first real update, you'll see that, and they look really cool. I like how they look. Frame is slightly warped as well. So I spent some time, once again, with the heat gun, warming it up, twisting it, cooling it back down until I could get, I believe the frame is going to sit fairly straight. I don't know how straight. I don't think the chassis is warped. Some of that's going to be one of those, we're just going to see how it is when it's done. But so that's pretty much where we are at with the truck. But the truck is most likely not going to be a full build series of videos. I may do because the paint is, I got some cool plans with the paint. I will probably do, like, I'll show the body painting. And, maybe I'll record bits here and there if I do something that I think is kind of cool. But this is going to be an updates build. I have a lot going on right now, and this is that heavy part that I was talking about. So if you're not really down for it, go ahead and go check out Vinny. Check him out. Vinny's going to be in that description down there. Go give him a sub. So it's been freezing cold, and a few weeks ago, one of the cats got out. He has not come back. So at this point, I'm pretty sure he's not coming back. I don't know if he got picked up by animal control. I don't know if he froze. I don't know. I don't. My daughter is very, very upset. That was kind of her cat. Shadow was her baby. We haven't seen him. I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. We leave food out and food gets eaten. Don't know if it's him or any of the other stray cats in the neighborhood, but we keep putting food out just in case. Um, on December 28th, my wife's mother passed away. My mother-in-law was an amazing woman. She was very, very cool. Um, she took me in and accepted me at a time when I was definitely probably not what most mothers would want for their daughter. Um, Definitely welcomed me in when I'm sure others probably wouldn't. Encouraged me a lot of times, helped me to grow as a man, as a father, as a husband. Awesome woman. Um, my wife is dealing with it the best she can. We recently had her funeral last weekend. Um, so there's that, and just dealing with that. I've talked about the air conditioner before, how we had a leak in uh, the air handler, the coil had a leak, and that they were talking like $3,600 plus labor plus refrigerant to replace the coil. I was talking to my neighbor next door, elderly couple I think of as my parents because they literally have been my parents. I don't have any. So Steve and Nancy are my parents. And I was telling Steve about it, and he's like, call my guy and have him come take a look. Because we also, it turns out heat pumps don't do well. They don't do well in the winter to begin with. And then when you have no refrigerant in them, they do even worse. But it got like, I mean, we're talking, it was like in the teens. I mean, it was brutally cold. And the house was at 50 at most. Coming to find out that our emergency electrical heat had two strips, but only one of those was working. And apparently they need to work in order to heat the house up. So he was like, look, we can repair this. We can get a heat kit out here and we can repair this. Um, you still are going to have to replace that coil. I told him what they were talking about price wise for the coil, and he looked at me and he's like, let me call my boss, but I think we've got a better option for you. So he calls his boss and he comes back and he's like, okay, we can replace your entire indoor unit for $4,000. You're going to be close to that by the time you finish paying for them to replace the coil and the refrigerant and the labor. You're going to be at or close to $4,000, and they're just going to be doing a patch repair job. You're not going to have, you'll have warranty on the coil. You won't have warranty on anything else. You have an 11-year-old unit. There's nothing wrong with your outdoor unit. You don't need a whole new system. Just the indoor unit. We will replace it with a train. $4,000 out the door, fully installed, everything you need. It'll be there, and then you'll have a 10-year warranty on the unit. That seemed like a no-brainer to me. But that was, a $4,000 expense that we weren't planning on dealing with yet. We were planning on pushing that down the road until like summer when we needed the air conditioning. The foundation, because I've talked about the foundation issues. The foundation issues, where we're at now, we've had an independent engineer come out because the last company that we had that we were looking at was talking about having French drains put in to improve the gutters. No other house in this neighborhood has French drains. So the company who came out to discuss doing the French drains also does foundation repair, and they're like, this doesn't sound right. Our advice would be to get an independent engineer out here and have them look at it. So we've got an independent engineer out, and he surveyed the foundation. They're like, yeah, you do have heaving on the sides, like they're saying. You're not going to fix this much, because I think the back corner of the house is like 1.7 inches, 1.8 inches. He's like, you're not going to fix that with drainage. You're going to need to raise the center of the house to where the sides are now. And that's going to be expensive. $37,000 expensive. They're going to go through the house. They're going to cut holes in my foundation, put pilings down, and lift the center of the house. So where we had the flooring done in the kids' rooms and that hallway, they're going to cut holes in that. So we're going to also end up having to pay to have the flooring fixed after they're done. And it's just the cat and the mother-in-law and the air conditioning and the foundation and having to do this radar scan and having to do all the work to clean things up and move things around so they can do that. It is so much. It all is so much, and it is really, I'm not good. I'm really not. I'm doing my best to hold everything together. But I talk a lot about mental health. I don't talk a lot about it, but I do mention it. It is something that I think is important. And I can't talk about mental health and say that mental health is important if I do not own up to the fact that I'm not well. And I'm not in a condition right now where I really feel I can do a build series and I can handle the editing and all that additional, stress and work. And I need to get myself happy. So I need to build for me for right now and kind of get myself back where I need to be. So I do plan on doing updates on the truck. When I have updates, I usually do them weekly. You guys have seen my update videos. I know a lot of guys were looking forward to seeing a build series on that truck, and I can't do it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's the heavy stuff, and that's everything that's going on with me right now. So that's where we're at. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to me rant about everything that's going on. I always appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you watching the videos, and I definitely appreciate your patience with this. I really do. But like I said, what I do, I will show what I've got going on and what I'm doing with it. I will show, because I've got, some 3D printed stuff. I'm going to be using solder for the first time to do exhaust. I've never used solder for the exhaust before, but I've seen guys do it, and it looks like it's going to work really well. So I'm definitely going to show some updates on stuff like that. I may do like small videos on making the exhaust or doing the paint. I like to show you guys how I do my paint. Painting the bed. I've shown that a couple of times, how I paint my wood beds, but I'll probably do a video on painting the wood beds. Little stuff like that, not necessarily like a full-on series. So thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you greatly, and I will catch you on the next one.